leaning backwards, kind of like wobbling funny. So I just chucked it.
Yeah.
And it wound up arcing way up, and I got him right in the crotch. It's just like a rocket.
Those things where you kind of wish there was a camera, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it was one of those, like, it's a story I love to tell because, you know, he still managed to have kids later on, so I didn't do any permanent damage.
yeah.
But
Or so you know.
I think I hit him hard enough that he vomited, if I recall. It was
dude.
pretty rough. Well, everybody, I just wanted to say welcome back to Bottle Bond.
Bottle Bond.
We got my buddy Jimmy here. We're going to be just doing some little sips today. We're going to be drinking a little bit of fun, tasty stuff.
Hell yeah.
One of the ones I wanted to share, I've been sort of sitting on this for a bit, but it's this super cool bottle right here from Yellowstone. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of set the stage of like the purpose of being here is drinking, and I keep getting caught up in other things like
It's easy. I feel like and this is weird. So I'm going to tie this in. I swear.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the mainstays of drinking is telling stories, and that the more you loosen up a little bit, you try and relate to other people around you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ways which we all do that, especially with people we like and who we're friends with, is with telling of stories. And the reason I bring this up is that from what you were telling me before the show started, is that there is a fun story behind Yellowstone. And I think that's an interesting tie-in because stories are what draw us together. And I think when you understand the story of where a product came from, in this case, whiskey or bourbon, it draws you into wanting to try it, which is, I think, one of the reasons, don't let me speak for you, one of the reasons why you brought it to the show to check it out. So.
It is, actually. So I've been, a huge part of what got me into the whole whiskey world is there's just so much history and story to it. Some of it is like structure and history of the country for bourbon, right? So like, you know, bourbon has all these crazy ties into what makes the country what it is today. Yeah. But at the same time, like whiskey has, to your point, has been part of like culture for so long that it helps, you know, settle grievances, and it helps people like, you know, get over hard times or celebrate good times, or like it's got just so much that it's tied into, and it helps people be less caught up in the garbage that, you know, catches you by day. The story about the Yellowstone that I thought was cool, I didn't even know this. My wife's the one that told me. I think she's been kind of cheerleading, like getting me, you know, more and more involved in getting excited about this stuff, and so she's been helping me keep an eye on cool stuff. And she pointed out that apparently Yellowstone donates a good part of their profits to Yellowstone, like as an actual charitable donation. They like help make, like they give a bunch to the park to like
I kind of hope that's true.
I looked it up a second ago. It looks like it is, actually.
Okay.
And they don't brag about it. It's like not here. Like it's not like this bottle gives $5.
So that's almost more powerful, right?
Yeah.
Because like the people who brag about giving stuff aren't giving necessarily as like genuinely perhaps as like the people that don't brag are the ones, and you find out later you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's the Keanu Reeves effect, right? Like nobody knew forever that he's given, like he's wealthy, but he's not as wealthy as he could be.
Yeah.
Because I think he's like single-handedly opened like a handful of child hospitals and like saved a handful more. Like he's given millions of dollars, and like nobody knew until a couple of years ago. To me, that's the right way to be awesome, right? Like you don't do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because people are gonna like thank you.
Notice or that you're gonna get clicks for it.
Yeah.
If more people acted like that, we'd be in a better world. So
yeah. So here's to Cano.
Maybe if more people sealed deals with good bourbon or whiskey, maybe people would be happier too. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked a while ago. Last time you and I talked about this, we were talking about the meanings of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this one is toasted. It is 100 proof, but it is not labeled as bottled in bond. And my assertion would be that that's because it was not aged in a bonded warehouse.
And I learned last time that toasted is something that all of these barrels do, but they decided to put it on the barrel on the bottle.
Yep.
And it's the toasting of the barrels, virgin barrels, And so I guess my question then, and my question now is also, does it say anything else? Because I remember there was toasted, and then you said that they can actually, there's different levels of charring.
Yep.
And I don't know if, is this one just say toasted,
this
or is
just
it a
says-
heavier char?
Yeah, so this just says toasted. I'll double check that actually between next time we take a pause or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll double check the like actual insinuation of what that means, but I think it has to do with like I think it's the lightest char level.
Okay.
But this is 7th generation family distillers, Limestone Branch Distillery, Lebanon, Kentucky, since 1872. This is the Special Finishes Collection. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished with toasted oak staves. Oh, so it's finished with the toasted oak. That's not even what it like about the aging part. But it is 100 proof, which is sort of the delineator for normally when you see that, it's often associated with a bottled in bond.
Yeah.
But that requires 4 years of aging. And,
Bottled in bond does.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 years minimum of aging, and it also requires the aging has to all happen in a bonded warehouse.
Okay. Bonded warehouse.
The government official.
Like,
yeah, so there's records that go with it, and has to be certified to a certain standard.
They just do whatever it is they're going to do, and
yeah, the origin of that.
Okay.
We have a whole episode you should go back and watch. Actually,
Oh, sorry.
It's a whole. The whole thing talks about why it's there, and essentially, there's a period of time where people were like, have some whiskey, and it turned out it was like distilled pine boards and kerosene, and like it's just horrible stuff.
So it's a legacy of standards basically coming through, so that when you see that term, it is meeting a certain level of quality expectation.
Yeah. Well, and the Bottled and Bond Act is essentially one of the predecessors to what became the FDA. So it was the very first consumer protection food related.
No, you cannot poison the people drinking this. Yeah. Is basically what they're saying.
But it was the way the government does it, right? They didn't say, no, you can't poison people. They said, no, you cannot call it bourbon whiskey bottled in bond because it does not meet these requirements.
Fair enough. I feel like that's the way to it also be a free country.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you want to drink stuff that we've certified is not going to kill you.
Yeah.
It'll say bottle and bond on it.
Yeah.
If it says something else, we guarantee nothing.
Would you like the thing that tastes like blindness? Don't shop here, right? Yeah.
So.
After more than 150 years of bourbon heritage, it's still important to keep things fresh. To do so, we've embarked on a new expedition, the Special Finishes Collection, beginning with our Yellowstone Bourbon mash bill that's been perfected over generations. We experiment with various finishes, each bringing a unique perspective to our more traditional bourbon profile, and much more like our national parks. No two are alike. I hope you enjoy this latest venture. There's always another just around the corner. And that's from Stephen B. Beam, founder and master distiller.
Tracks.
Hey.
Stephen. All right, so we got to get the. Oh, wow. Super foil.
Stephen, or is it Stefan?
Stephen. PH.
Yeah, okay, Stephen. Oh,
there we go.
sorry. It just feels so right to make a sound effect like that every time.
I need like a board, right? With
a soundboard
like,
with some sound
pop,
effects here.
pop, pop, pop. Oh, like just weird. Like every once in a while, it'll be that
Little
weird
call outs. You do need a soundboard. I feel like there's some humor opportunity there.
Gotta have a soundboard that goes with the twist off tops. So like you can like twist it off, and at the very end go have it do the perfect pop. And in a previous episode, I practiced my my full ounce pour.
Yep.
I think I'm actually just about a full ounce. I'm a little over.
That looks about right.
Yeah.
Based on where you marked the glasses when you were measuring it the last time.
I'm so like, oh man, I'm gonna have a lot of rough nights if I don't figure this out. So, all right, cool. So this is Yellowstone Special Finishes, huh? It's nice and light color.
Oh wow, this has a very. And again, maybe I'm an untrained here, but this is almost like a caramelly, maybe mapley.
Yeah, I get kind of maple and wildflowers almost.
Yeah, but it's that kind of a sugary.
Yeah,
at least what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah. I suppose I can share these parts, right? So like you can do the one nostril, the other nostril. Sometimes people like lean your nose and close it off, so that you're only going through one nostril. You also sometimes want to like exhale really hard through your nose to get your scents to clear out and stuff. But the other way to
So actually, funny story about that. I actually trained myself a long time ago not to ever breathe like that when I'm eating stuff.
Mhm.
And the reason is because when I was a little kid, I started eating wasabi at an early age, and my my dad, I learned that lesson the painful way, but my dad also trained me like breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth when eating
Mhm.
lots of wasabi.
Yep.
So now from that training myself, I now sort of subconsciously always breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth when I'm eating things.
Yeah. I had a buddy. I think I've told the story on the show before. I had a buddy who was in the podcasting world way back when people talked about Web 2.0 as like a new thing.
Back in the day.
And,
my day.
Yeah. And he had a podcast.
We sent carrier pigeons with our points.
He tried. He was helping somebody with a sushi. Like it was a sushi restaurant themed podcast thing, basically, where they'd go and they'd prep a dish and talk about it and talk about the history and the way to eat it and whatever. But apparently that specific sushi bar, part of their initiation for any new hire was to have them mix the wasabi. Because normally in like normal non-super traditional restaurants, like, super traditional, it's wasabi is a root. But like normal restaurants, a lot of times it comes in powder form and it's just ground up horseradish with coloring and stuff. And so they'd like, the mistake people make is they'll just like cut the bag and dump it in the bowl.
Yep.
Which goes poof in your eyes, up your nose, like
It's the
and it's like a weird like hazing ritual.
the ashes in Big Lebowski, if you remember that scene.
Mm-hmm.
He like tries to dump his friend,
Mm-hmm.
and it just goes. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, is rough, I guess is.
One time we went into a restaurant with my dad, and he brought the wasabi root with him and a grinder. And so he put the grinder down on the table.
Yeah.
And like the wait staff, like the waitress came over and looked at him and looked at the thing and looked at him and just like shook her head a little bit and just walked away. He like ground down the wasabi fresh for everyone at the table.
Nice. He's like, your food is good. Your wasabi is garbage.
Your wasabi is just horseradish.
I feel like the positive spin on that is your food is good enough for me to get real wasabi to pair with it.
Yeah, exactly. You put the horse in horseradish.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the whiskey. It's opened up a little bit. More like mainstream sweet, a little bit less like mapley.
I definitely get a little more of like a back of the palate sort of burn with this one.
Yep.
Less so than some of the other ones we tried. Definitely taste the sweet though. I know where that's coming from.
Graham crackers? Do you get like a graham
the
cracker?
taste?
Yeah, a graham crackery flavor.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But it'd be like the honey graham,
Yeah.
not regular graham. Yeah. That leads me to a question.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of times when we try and do pairings, right, or when we're trying to drink whiskey or vodka or anything like, or we're trying to like understand a flavor.
Yep.
Scotch, I like Scotch. We end up making these sort of comparisons to other flavors that you're usually like, oh, this tastes like wildflower and anise or whatever direction we take it in.
Yeah.
And I wonder if is that a prerequisite for enjoying the flavor of whiskey and bourbon? Also liking food.
Yeah.
Because like, how would somebody that doesn't like food, do they also by definition not like bourbon? I'd be curious to know if there's anybody that actually doesn't like complex flavors but does like bourbon, and why? What did they taste?
I could make a snarky comment here.
Sorry for taking us wildly in a direction, but I'm just like, just made me think, right?
I could make a snarky comment here, but any like label that I make a joke about is going to have a rabid fan base attached to it. And so regardless of whether or not I mean it's a joke, like I could say like, haha, there's a blah, 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 right? Like, like you could talk about like beer in the same context, right? And be like, if does good beer, does having the taste for good beer require liking food? And you're like, no, there's a whole market of people who like Bud Light, right? Which is arguably, if you think it's great beer, you probably also think McDonald's is great hamburgers. And, you know, like, so, I can adjacently make fun of another brand without it like being right in my
Bud Light is excellent
main audience.
for beer pong.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. There's a place for it, right? It's
I
a
like
river
it.
beer.
I like it in the same way I like Night Train, which is served very cold.
Yeah. There's the phrase river beer to talk about stories.
Mhm.
So in high school I played water polo. So big dude, I developed a hell of an arm, right? I had a buddy who used to do a river rafting trip every year, and like when I was in college and onward, and I like once you get to a certain bulk, you don't like even if you don't work out as hard, you still kind of stay pretty bulky.
Yeah.
And so I've had a pretty solid arm ever since like back then, and so we did this like camping trip. We went down the river and we'd bring bags and bags of like river beer, right? The cheap stuff where you don't care if you spill it, you don't care if you have to dump it because it gets river water in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like at this place. It was like there's a big open, calm spot in the middle of the river, like because we literally do rapids on inner tubes for some reason. It was not the smartest move, but it's a lot of fun, and it's way easier when you have beer. And so we were like going through these beers, and my buddy calls.
You care less about the danger when you've had a few of the beers.
Yeah, exactly. You do that like jelly roll thing, right? You go like tumble down the rapids, and you're like, ha ha ha! I'm not bleeding profusely, so
I won't get knocked out at any moment. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so like my buddy calls for a beer, and I just huck the beer as hard as I can. He's like, "This is a bad choice, right?" But like, he was 45, 50 feet away, like not close, right? Like, and I just like Hail Mary this thing from the inner tube because I was like leaning backwards, kind of like wobbling funny. So I just chucked it, but it wound up arcing way up, and I got him right in the crotch. It's just like a rocket.
Those things where you kind of wish there was a camera, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it was one of those like it's a story I love to tell because he still managed to have kids later on, so I didn't do any permanent damage.
Yeah.
But
or so
I think I hit him hard enough that he vomited. If I recall, it was pretty rough.
So wait, okay, just to bring this back to the show for a second, did he like whiskey or something, or is this just a tangent where you want to talk about how you like nut punch some guy with a beer?
This was the river beer conversation.
Okay,
Bud Light's a great river beer. Oh, hey, my river beer story. This always makes me giggle. Like every time I hear the phrase river beer, it makes me think of this exact moment. Where I'm like,
I'll just be glad it wasn't river whiskey.
Oh God,
you would have taken out his leg. Exactly.
Molotov cocktail the thing across the river at him. Like, splash on the rocks. And you're like trying to. You just picture somebody like next to the rock trying to catch the last drops.
Mm.
Mm.
What are your thoughts? Actually, going back to the food conversation.
Yeah.
This one, pairing wise. Graham cracker got me thinking. Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Marshmallow and chocolate. This would be a good s'mores pairing.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
It's it opens up like a lot. Like it's a like
the first sip. So I had a sip right after you poured it.
Yep.
And then I've been sitting here.
Yep.
And then I've had a sip subsequently later, and it's sort of smoothed out a little.
Yeah. So there's a whole culture that
I would definitely let this one breathe a little bit before for any of you guys to try it later. I would definitely let it breathe for a minute.
There's a whole culture around like which parts of the bottle you drink. So there's like certain culture, like certain groups that'll like talk about like you don't drink the stuff in the neck. Like you pour it out.
Or they pour it out?
Yeah, they like pour it out. Or like there's other guys who like
you like pour it into
that, they only want that.
Like an infinity bottle or something?
Like some of them
drink the side.
No, some of them will like pour it in a glass and dump it. Some of them will put it in an infinity bottle. Like everybody's got their weird ritual that like this is the thing that they came into this with.
It's like the sake quality stuff.
Yeah. And it's like I'm sure there's a whole logic to it, but to me at the end of the day it's more about like this other part, right? Pour it, let it sit, let it open, right? Like I made that mistake of this is a thing Chance taught me that I don't think of until I watch him do it. And I'm still developing the habits properly of like, how to slow down and taste it through the ritual of tasting. And that's one of the things we'll like talk about a lot of times is you like sit it, you hold it in your hand. Like part of why these are good is you can hold it like in the palm of your hand. Yeah. Your hand will help warm it up. It'll help like with the evaporation and stuff. Yeah. And like, kind of.
That actually reminds me sort of the story of maple syrup. I'm a huge fan of maple syrup.
Yeah.
The story of maple syrup is about removing impurities and removing other elements to reveal the concentrated goodness within.
Yeah.
Right. That's what maple syrup is all about. You start with this much tree sap,
Mhm.
and you end up with this much concentrated maple syrup with a fantastic flavor.
Yeah, it's like what 100 gallons becomes a quart or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, it's and it can be. And actually, if we wanted it, we could do a whole episode just about maple syrup because it has just as many different grades
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. So growing up in a maple growing region, I should say.
Yeah.
We used to go to the sugar house. We wouldn't. Yeah, I know exactly. We would go to the sugar house. We wouldn't go to the supermarket for maple syrup. We'd go
Yep.
to the guy.
Yeah.
Literally, there was a guy in my town. We'd go to his sugar house, and we'd go into his sugar house, and he's like, and he'd have his like overalls on in the snow, and he'd be like, "Which one do you want?" He'd like point to like the double A amber and the triple A dark, and
Yeah.
you want the triple A light, Brent, like, and he would just go through all the different grades, which you get from different levels of refinement, but also different parts of the season.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And they have different flavor qualities, and they
Yep.
use for different things. So like the AAA, you might want traditionally you'd want to use more on like pancakes because it's more of an accent flavor. Right?
Okay.
Whereas the AA amber you want to cook with it, almost like molasses.
Okay.
Or the dark grade B.
Yeah.
You don't want it. That's not a bad flavor. This is a different flavor. So, but it's so heavy that again you'd want to use it almost like the same way you'd use molasses.
Yeah. As like a base sugar.
As a base sugar, but with a very strong flavor to it,
Yeah.
right? Because molasses you don't necessarily have by itself, but you want that flavor as an element in a larger recipe, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like the AAA, like light, would be you want something to accent the butter and like all the things that go into pancakes.
Yeah.
Pancakes, by the way, in New Hampshire are a huge thing. So anyway, the point of the story is only that there's enough refinement there that the story behind how the maple syrup hits you can be almost as complicated as in my mind anyway, as bourbons or whiskeys.
Yeah.
If you get really into it.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit unnaturally into it. I actually even wrote a paper about maple syrup in college.
Mhm.
When I had the opportunity to write a paper about something, I was like, I'm going to do it about a research paper about maple syrup.
Yeah.
So
Now you know.
And now you know. Actually, legally speaking, again to tie it again back to whiskey, there are in some states legal protections regarding what you can call maple syrup.
Yeah.
Meaning, so in Vermont, if something says Vermont maple syrup, it has to be 100% maple syrup. It cannot be cut with corn syrup or anything else because by law, Vermont and I believe the same thing is they have the same sort of rules in Canada. I don't know for sure, but I believe the same thing. There's a number of states that if it says that, then it has to be 100%, so that there's no misconception about what you're eating.
Right. But I assume it also matters that like it's literally 100% trees from Vermont also.
Correct. Well, that too. But again, it's not just trees from Vermont, but it also is 100% pure.
Right.
As opposed to 80% maple syrup and 20% corn syrup.
Right. And coloring and
which is the kind of thing you would get from the store in a brands that I will not mention that will say things like maple topping.
Right. Right.
Or maple something else, but they can't say Vermont maple syrup.
Right. It's the cheese food product conversation all over again, right? Like the things where you're like, ugh, if you can't say it's the thing you're pretending to be, then don't even pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
no,
tangent complete.
That's fine, but let's bring it back. You got maple out of yours a little bit?
Yeah, it just reminded me a lot of that. So
yeah, it's
I feel like that Rebecca Creek we tried had a little bit of that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Had a lot of that, which is again, a maple's on the brain now because of that.
Yeah.
So.
I do though, like, so this, to your point, this is not like a standout, like I'm not going to hunt this bottle down because I need this flavor, but this flavor goes with stuff. This flavor is a campfire. Like, I can see sitting next to the campfire drinking this like slowly.
Well, see, that's what, again, so for me, again, eating a s'more.
Yep.
And some chocolate marshmallow in this.
Yep.
Feels like a fun pairing, right?
Yeah. And I would
melted toasted marshmallow.
Right. Well, and there's also like, for me, there's like the idea of certain whiskeys I'll see, like I could sit down and I'd have one of these by the fire. And then there's like Chance has this reference of camp, like it's camp whiskey, which is the one that you just like, that's what you drink all weekend. Like you go out camping, you just drink the bottle. And like, over the course of the weekend or whatever, right? Like it's just there. I
feel like in this crowd, it would be a couple bottles over a whole weekend.
Yeah.
But I get your point.
Yeah. At least one per person. No big deal, right? No, but seriously.
Case per person.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say how big the bottle was.
Do they have magnums in the whiskey world?
they do have 175s.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, the 5-gallon or it's 5 liter.
what they do with
bottles.
champagne bottles sometimes.
Yeah, it's like 5 liters. I think of Magnum. I don't remember.
All I know is that it's a lot.
Yeah. It looks like it's a joke, and then you see somebody use it, and you're like, oh,
It's actually champagne in there. Yeah.
So they do have at least the 175s, which is like, so this is 750. It's 1.75.
Mhm.
So it's 1.75 liters instead of so it's substantially bigger, but not, you know.
I feel
So
like thematically, the Yellowstone whiskey being very friendly to camping environments makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah, totally agreed. But this is super pleasant.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't call it crazy complicated. I wouldn't call it crazy anything.
No, it's very straightforward in terms of a flavor.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. It's not like sometimes people use simple in a pejorative way. I wouldn't say that at all.
Yeah.
I think it has a strong, pleasant flavor. It's a really nice pour.
Yeah. So we have a tradition. We've started scoring things. We have sort of the you're familiar with skiing?
Yes.
Being from a maple place, I assume.
Being from a place that has maple trees that actually produce during the winter. We had a winter, which probably means we had mountains with winter.
So we have this notion of green, blue, black. And we did this thing for a while. We were trying to like mix and match and figure out like averaging, blending, whatever. You know, it's a double green.
So do you want me to go first?
Yeah. So
I don't know I don't know how you guys have used that before, but I can guess.
It's basically like green is like it's easy, it's approachable. It's not crazy complicated. It's not, you don't need a PhD in whiskey.
It's not a quality rating. It's a flavor palette kind of rating.
It's an approachability. Well, it's a couple things, but it's like, think of it like skiing, right? So it's like like anybody can take a green slope, right? Like if you know if you're intending to be skiing, if you intend to drink whiskey, everybody can approach it. Right. Okay. Whereas the blue is maybe a little bit more complicated. It's either richer or harsher or something comes with it.
Okay.
And then the black is sort of it's complicated. You need to be
the advanced whiskeys.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one where you're like, oh, this is different every time I try it, or like you have to pay attention because there's nuances to it, or like
you cannot drink it absent-mindedly.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to
get the full experience.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to, right? It's one of those you're like you'd miss out if you did.
Yeah. So based on that description,
yeah.
Do you want me to go first? You want to go first.
Go ahead.
So for me, based on that description, I would say this one is sort of between a green and a blue in that regard. So it sort of approaches. It's not the most approachable bourbon or whiskey I've ever had. It's also not the most down the middle complex one either. But it is sort of in between, right? It's got a little something going on, but it's very approachable still. But I wouldn't say it's green. So I'd say like a blue green. Can I do that?
We did allow that for a while. I think we're biasing back towards just picking.
Okay, so okay. No, okay. I'll play by the rules.
Yeah.
So if we got to pick one, then I would say it's a blue.
Okay. Blue. So we've also picked a positioning space, right? So I go here and Chance goes here. So you can pick a spot. Since you're going to be a repeat guest, you could put it anywhere on the label.
Just put it over there on the bottle part. I don't want to mess up they got a really pretty label.
That's fine. I'm going to go right here.
I really like, so Lee, we're talking about label design before. I love this label design. I feel like it's attractive. I feel like it demonstrates like almost like the culture from which it's from. And so it communicates a message while not being too busy.
Yeah.
And not trying too hard.
Yeah. I like the fact that
it's a nice finish. It's very understated. It's got like a nice, solid, strong Yellowstone, a little bit of image where it's from. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's well done.
Well, the embossing on the like the texture on the bottle, and for me, actually brings it all together too, right? Like it has sort of that ranch feel to it, like that. Yeah. The sort of like it's got.
By the way, I'm happy to critique all the labels of the whiskeys, so long as we don't take it as far as what's his face from was like the American Psycho.
Okay.
Like looking at the business cards where we get really like wrapped around the axle.
Eggshell.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, the finish. Yeah. Like no, I can't. I think are they trying too hard? Are they not trying too hard? That's about the level.
Yeah,
we can analyze here.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I like it. I would call it a green because it's like it's. I'll drink it. I'll enjoy it. I'm not going to like dive into it. I'm not going to explore the flavor forever. It's sort of a one and done when I'm going to drink it. That's why I would go with green for me.
Okay.
But it does have some complexity to it. So to your point, it's not an easy green. It's sort of a green plus.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about it. Is that
Yeah.
like it, and maybe this is because I'm less of an experienced drinker of bourbon and whiskey. That for me,
Some of us have expertise. What can I say?
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So maybe for me, that's it'll be a green later when I've experienced more.
Yeah, well, and for me, for a while, it was like either green or not green. Like for the first several months, the Chance and I started this. Even it was like sort of I could do like I could drink it and be like, oh yeah, here's all the things about it, and it was very easy and approachable. And then anything I couldn't do that with, it was just sort of like,
Gotcha.
And I would just follow along and be like, yeah, I totally smell fresh cut grass, Chance. Like, why would I drink that? Oh my god!
Here's the thing: I'm trying to like find things I naturally disagree with on because I don't want to be one of those people that like, oh yeah, I totally taste the whatever, because it's just be honest. Like I'm not as experienced as you guys are at drinking stuff, and if I taste it, I'll say I taste it. If I'm like I'm not sure, like I'll say that too, because I feel like honesty is a good thing. Everybody.
Yeah.
So wait, okay, so we graded this one, we drank this one,
Yep.
we like this one.
Yep.
We have another one?
We do, but we'll do that in a little bit.
Oh, we want to.
Yeah. We're gonna adjourn. We're gonna cool off in here a little bit.
Okay.
I'll try to like keep things theme centric, and since so for reference today, we decided today is going to be a sort of a run around the world of like a bunch of different types of bourbon.
Okay.
Right, so they're not all connected. They're nights when we have like 4 or 5 or whatever the same brand.
So I have an idea about that.
Yeah.
So the trip you take might dictate different types of things. So what I mean is, if you were to sail around the world, would the bourbons you choose for a sail around the world be different than a flight around the world?
Ooh.
Because you land at different places than you embark into.
So you're talking about like what would you bring if you were traveling in a certain way, or are you talking about
Does
so
the
like
method of travel change the things you would try? Like for example, if you're sailing around the world, you'd probably go through the Mediterranean, but you wouldn't necessarily fly into the Mediterranean. So maybe something Greek or Italian.
Well, bourbon, another legal stipulation. Bourbon has to be from the United States, not Kentucky, anywhere in the U.S.
Fair enough, but I'm just saying, as you are going around the world.
Well, you can see a couple things, right? There will be what are the flavors you are in those areas, right? So you could do like a liquor tour of the world.
Yeah.
You could get introduced to wonderful things like Becherovka, which is a Czech liqueur that is apparently made from distilled pine needles.
I feel like if we're going to drink that, we need to be like arm wrestling at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like I bet you that on the back of that, they have diagrams of how you're supposed to like arm wrestle each other as you drink it. A la like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator when they're like flexing, handshaking.
No, the trick is there's only one glass and you have to fight over it.
Oh yeah, you have to both
whoever gets it.
Yeah.
Right. No. It's so like I could see that though where you're drinking from around the world, you drink what's there. But I can also see like what drinks fit the theme of each place you would go. So there are going to be whiskeys that taste like a warm afternoon sitting on a beach in Greece.
Yeah.
There will be whiskeys that taste like I'm in the French countryside.
So there's a great board game.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this ties in. There's a great board game I used to play. That because most board games, they're like it's very clear what the intent is. Like Monopoly, you want to win the game by owning. It's Monopoly. You want to own all the money, all the properties. You own everything, and then you win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or in Axis and Allies, you're one of the Axis or the Allies, and once you take over when you win World War II, you win the board game, right? If you win the game of life, it's because you've gathered enough kids and all the other things, right? There's a board game, and the whole point of it is to have the best journey.
Okay.
And so you're scored based on the amount of things that you are able to do, and things could be food you've tried, trinkets you've purchased, literally hot baths you've sat in.
Okay.
And if you sit in a hot bath that happens to have a monkey in it, that's a plus point because you experienced a hot bath with a monkey.
Okay.
And or painted, because that's considered like an experience.
Like being painted in the bath?
No, you have painted a scenery to remember it by. Now you took it with you.
Oh, okay.
So like it's called Tokaido.
Oh yeah, okay.
Road,
I've seen the book or I've seen the box for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can bring it over sometime. But the whole point is you judge based on the journey, not on the destination, and that's the whole board game. You get to the end, and actually, if you do it too quickly and you don't think about it thoroughly enough, you've missed the point. You lost the game.
Nice. I actually really like that. I feel as though I inadvertently have been a guest star in that. I've done all kinds of fun stuff.
So my point is that like that might be an interesting theme for how you think about what alcohols to choose as your trip around the world. Which ones speak to the experience you want to have, as opposed to just what you think tastes good.
Yeah, well, I totally like. I think that'd be awesome, right? Like, because they're, I'm going to be in this location for this reason, right?
Yeah.
So there's I'm going to be in this location has a flavor profile for it, but also I'm going to do this thing has a separate flavor profile a lot of times, right? Like, I'm in France because of wine country or the Alps, right? Like which part of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're very different parts of that country.
I could be really into Ricola or wine.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
or cheese, actually.
Yeah. Even
cheese would be good.
Yeah. So I like that idea. I love the idea of like painting a picture of the this is the tour I would like to take. I can also see doing that with like a flavor, like, so there's tasting events, right? People will like present a tasting and like they'll do it. A lot of times they'll do it from sort of easier to like firmer flavors, just so that you don't overpower your palate. But I actually could see shaping a story that way too.
Well, and I think that we already do this with all of our senses, right? I think one of the most common things you'll hear people talk about, especially as they reminisce about the life that they've led to get to sort of like, is they'll start to associate smells and tastes to experiences.
Yeah.
Right? It's you smell something and you're like, man, that reminds me, this is going to be, how many times I can't speak for anybody else, but like how many times have I smelled a certain perfume and it reminded me of a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Right? Or a certain perfume and remind me of my grandmother.
Right.
Or like, because it's like, that reminded me of a person.
Yep.
And then when it reminds me of the person, it also reminds me of all the things that happened with that person.
So
good or bad, right?
So there's a funny story actually.
And so I feel like that could happen with alcohol too.
It does.
Like, you know what I mean?
So there's actually, I will fully confess, we lost the footage for it, but there's an event that happens in your palate development where the flavoring will trigger not necessarily like I smell this thing, but this thing reminds me of a memory.
Yeah.
So like Chance always talks about like the smell of like your baseball glove in summer or whatever. Like he gets all this weird stuff out of it that I don't. But there are times where like that happened at one point where it's like, oh, it totally reminds me of this like weird summer in childhood where they're like, I don't remember what it was, but it was like this thing where I described the taste as like a snapshot in time in my memory. Not like, it wasn't about the flavor, but it was about the whole picture. And it apparently like as part of your developing your scent profile and stuff, it actually like starts to develop more tied to that because your olfactory senses are so heavily tied to memory and stuff. So
I guess I wonder if there's anything to helping people remember things by pairing them with other senses.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would bet there's like therapies for that do that.
I don't know enough about it I'm just openly musing.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's one of the reasons why, at least for me anyway, when I physically take notes, which I know is archaic, we have all computers now, but when I physically take notes, I find that I remember it a lot better because there's like something that I have to do with my brain that like helps me associate with like learning stuff.
Yeah, so there's actually, that's a whole different conversation, but there's like something like 7 different types of interactions with your memory. So there's
which part of those interactions involves alcohol? Because the more of them that we have will be relevant to this episode.
Speaking of, we should get to more alcohol here.
I was going to say.
But for this one, to you, buddy, and to the bond.
To the bond. To the bond. Oh, I'm a little bit out.
I get the very little last drops.
What do they call that? The last drops?
The dregs?
Is it the dregs or is it like the...
the dregs are actually at the bottom of the bottle.
Okay.
I don't know, actually. I'm certain there's a term for it.
Backwash.
Yeah.